welcome back. This is YYC Deadpool here with Addicted to Gaming. Today we're going to be testing a build that is um, for fort plundering. I believe that this build will be the only build that you'll be playing with for fort plundering. If you're looking to have a build that's going to decimate those towers, that's going to decimate those forts, those walls, um, this is the build for you. All right. So with that said, let's get into it. We're gonna get to the build. And what are we using today? Um, we're gonna be using the Peterokan. So if you're looking, the reason why we're using a Peterokan, a lot of people saying, "Oh, use the sandbuck or use the snow." Um, even so, I saw some people using the bark. But this the Ford Blaster, that's what I call it, is just amazing. Now, ship type is a DPS ship. It specializes in dealing damage and status effect. The DPS favors an aggressive play style. It's got the perks. What the perks is what it is good here. It's got detonate, so explosive hits has a 70% chance of triggering an explosion, which deals 1,000 damage within 125 blast radius. It increases to 100% if the target ship is ablaze. So I found out that it also works with towers. So, how you're probably asking, how do you set ablaze a tower? Well, you use fire bombards. So we're going to get into the build here. It increases the damage. That's the main thing here. It increases the damage to structures by 50% and weapon damage radius by 12%. All right. So it's got a good hull health, 37,000, brace strength, 7,400. It is not the fastest ship out there by far. Um, but yeah, it's pretty decent. 11 knots speed, 14 when you're trim speed. It's got fairly good cargo space as well. And what are we going to do? We're going to use here. We're going to be using for the weapon here, manage ship. For the weapons, we're going to be using for the front on the bow fire bombards 3. Now, the reason why we're using fire bombards, again, it is the perk on the ship that it will give you a bonus for ablaze ablaze ships or structures. So this is how you start the fight. You start with your fire bombard on the tower, and then you switch to your side cannons, which we are using the Mons Mag 3. Now, the Mons Mag 3, if you're looking at the damage here, it's got the perks for siege, so it increases the damage to structure by 50%. It's got the explosive damage that we want as well for the perk for the ship to trigger for the explosive. Adds 10% of damage as explosive damage in a 30-meter blast radius. Uh, Piercing, you don't really need the piercing for fort, but that doesn't matter. Um, Explosive of 307, piercing of 307. The damage 3,075 per shot. So you have about, I think it's what, three shots or four shots off of each side. We're going to be using the same thing on the starboard. On the rear, again, we're going to use the fire bombard, so you can do a full rotation if you want, shooting from the front and then the side. And if you're moving, you can shoot from the back and then from the port or as or starboard. And the the auxiliary weapon, you have a couple options here. I was using the Mortar 3 just because I had at the time I have my Leopold are all taken by other ships, but you could use. I mean, this here has got the blast, had 15% damage, explosive damage in a 50-meter blast. Um, you can also use the Leopold, which does the same thing, except it's got flooding. For damage, it's a little bit more damage, 15,221 versus the 13,455. It's got the same reload speed, the same range, and fire rate as the Leopold. Just a little bit more damage on the Leopold. So if you have the Leopold, I'd say go ahead and take it. If not, um, Motor 3 will do just fine. Now with the new update, the reason why a lot of people are saying why you're not using the termites. I don't have the termite 3. The reason why it is the range. With the Leopold, you have a range of 600 meters, and with a termite, it's a range of 400 meters. So you have to be closer. And those forts, when you get into fort, you probably notice that if you get too close, you get not only the towers they're shooting, but you get the walls, and those walls, when they're shooting, they will drop you pretty quick. So you don't want to be too close to the fort when you're doing that, other than maybe those two French port, which are easy to solo. So we're going to be testing that build. I will show you on that fort. Since we're all alone here, that I don't have a crew right now to test it, but you'll see how effective it is with the mortars. For the armor, what we're going to be using, well, we're going to be using the Royal Custodian. You are free to use whatever you want, but the reason why I use the Royal Custodian is because it's got the perk Refortify. So every time that you use a heal, so we're going to be using level 1 heal, level 1 repair kits. You can use the advanced repair 1 kits if you want, but I use the level 1 repair kits because as soon as you heal yourself, it will apply the fortified effect to your ship for 12 seconds after using a repair kit, which increases armor by 35%. So for 12 seconds, it will apply that. But your repair kit is every 20-second cooldown. So for 8 seconds, that you're not going to have any bonus. I mean, that's not much. So for 12 seconds, you're going to have the fortified thing, which is going to increase your armor by 35%. So it is good, especially when you're in a big group. You have a healer, and he doesn't have time to get to you right away. You're popping those little level 1, and it gives you extra armor. For the furniture, now that is an important here for the furniture. The megaphone. The reason why we're using the megaphone, it is because since you're hitting, you're going to be mostly stationary, not moving too fast. It's going to be easy to do those consecutive hits on the towers. It will decrease your reload time by 0.5%, up to a maximum of 15%. So every time that you're shooting, you're going to be shooting your front fire bombard. There's 2 shots, so that's 1%. And then you're going to shoot the side cannons, which is going to be another, 2.5%, and you're going to keep on going like this, and it's just going to accumulate and everything. This effect resets after 10 seconds. So within that 10 seconds, you have time to shoot twice, right? So it's going to give you that extra bonus. The front power kegs increase the front weapon damage by 10%. Now again, because of the fire bombard, we want to do that fire effect to trigger the ablaze effect, right? And a little bit extra damage. The bombard works because we're going to be using just bombard, so bombard by 19% increase. Your mortar for the 19% increase, and the scraper the scrapper station. I mean, sorry, no, that is it. So those 4 are the ones that you want to be using on that ship. All right. So with that said, let's go and see how this ship fares against a fort. All right. So we'll be fast forwarding video. So enjoy the little video, and I'll get back to you guys after the battle. All right, guys, this is it. As you can see, it decimated that fort. Even the biggest fort, it is a beast. All right, leave us a like, comments. Let us know what you think about the build. Make sure you check us out for Banished Souls Encrypted Gaming. I'm going to leave the links in the description, and we'll see you later. Have a good one, guys.